You don't notice it right away. It's quiet, almost polite. But it's there, that feeling that something inside you never fully rests. Even when you're smiling, even when the day went fine, there's a part of you still watching, still listening, still replaying something that already ended. You might be listening to this late at night, lights low, phone close to your chest, telling yourself you'll stop after this. But you won't, not yet, because some part of this already feels familiar, uncomfortably familiar. You have these habits that don't look like habits. They don't show up in routines or calendars. No one ever points them out. They live quietly inside you. One of them is how often you rehearse conversations. Not just important ones. Small ones too. Things you might never say out loud. You imagine the tone, their reaction, your response, then their response to that. Sometimes you win the conversation. Sometimes you lose it. Sometimes it just keeps going, long after the real world has gone silent. You don't do it because you enjoy it. You do it because silence feels unsafe, because being unprepared feels dangerous. So you prepare, and prepare, and prepare. Another habit is how quickly you take responsibility for emotional weather. If the mood shifts, you notice. If someone grows distant, you feel it before they say a word. You scan yourself. What did I do? What did I say? What should I have done differently? Even when no one blamed you. Even when nothing actually happened. You don't accuse yourself loudly. It's softer than that. A gentle, constant checking. Like tapping your pocket to make sure something important isn't missing. You'll also have this way of living in the future. Not the exciting version, the fragile one. You imagine outcomes, conversations that could go wrong, moments where things fall apart. You feel them emotionally before they exist. Your body reacts as if they're already real. Heart tight. Breath shallow, mind racing ahead without asking permission. People think you're calm, grounded, but they don't see how far ahead you're running. Then there's the past. It doesn't stay where it belongs. You replay moments that seemed small at the time. A look, a pause, something you said too quickly. You turn it over, again and again, looking for meaning. Was that irritation, disappointment? Did I imagine it? Did I miss something important? The memory changes slightly every time you touch it. But the feeling stays sharp. At night, this habit gets louder. When the world finally stops distracting you, when there's nothing left to respond to, your mind opens old files, things you thought you processed, things you told yourself were fine. You don't cry dramatically, you don't panic, you just stay awake, thinking, reframing, revisiting. You tell yourself you're just reflecting, but reflection eventually turns into exhaustion. Another invisible habit is how deeply you feel before you show anything. On the outside, you're controlled, measured, sometimes even distant. Inside, emotions move fast, they stack, they overlap. You feel disappointment before you admit you were hopeful. You feel lost before you accept something mattered. So you delay expression. You wait until you're sure, until it's safe. And sometimes you wait so long that the moment passes, and no one ever knows what it cost you. You're also incredibly aware of timing. You sense when it's not the right moment to speak, when someone wouldn't understand, when it would change how they see you. So you hold back. Again, not because you don't have words, but because you have too many. You weigh each one, the impact, the consequences. Silence becomes your default. There is a habit of self-monitoring too. Watching yourself from the outside, how you sound, how you come across. You adjust in real time, softer, less intense, more agreeable. Not because you're fake, but because you're careful. You learned early that being fully unfiltered had consequences. So now you manage yourself gently, constantly. Another quiet habit is how you confuse understanding with closure. You think if you analyze something enough, it will finally release you. If you can just see it clearly, from every angle, with full context. But clarity doesn't always bring peace. Sometimes it just brings more detail. And more detail means more thinking. You're also emotionally alert all the time. Like your nervous system is tuned a little too high. You notice shifts others miss. Energy changes. Subtext, it's a skill, but it's tiring. You don't know how to turn it off. Even during rest, your mind keeps a light on, just in case. Just in case something needs to be caught. Just in case you missed something earlier, there's a habit of postponing relief. You tell yourself you'll relax after you figure this out, after you understand why it happened, after you prepare for what might come next. But the figuring out never ends. So relief stays just out of reach. Sometimes you wonder what it would feel like to exist without commentary, without the inner narrator explaining everything. Just presence, just quiet. But even imagining that feels strange, almost lonely. Because your thoughts have been with you for so long. You don't trust ease easily. When things are calm, you wait for the shift. You brace without realizing it. Good moments feel fragile, temporary. So you enjoy them carefully. Another invisible habit is how you protect others from your inner chaos. You don't want to overwhelm. You don't want to be too much. So you edit yourself, summarize, downplay. You say, I'm fine, and mean I'm managing. You don't want fixing. You don't want advice. You just want space to exist without being analyzed. Ironically, the one thing you rarely give yourself. You've built an entire inner world that no one else sees. It's detailed, complex, and heavy. You carry it quietly, competently. Most people would never guess how much effort it takes just to feel okay. And yet, here you are, still listening. Something in you recognized itself tonight, not loudly, not dramatically, just a soft internal nod. You're not broken for having these habits. They didn't appear randomly. They kept you safe once. They helped you survive something subtle, something that required awareness, carefulness. But you don't have to judge them tonight. You don't have to fix them. Just noticing them is enough for now. You can let the thoughts slow a little, not disappear. Just soften. You don't need answers before sleep. You don't need to resolve anything. The world can wait. The future can wait. Even the past can wait. For this moment, you're allowed to rest without understanding everything. And if your mind wanders again, that's okay. You'll come back. You always do.